Hello, I'm Tim Bush. I've been a firefighter for 27 years. In 1992, I was hired by the city of Eagan to be a paid-on-call firefighter. In 2008, I became a two-hatter when I was hired by the city of Maple Grove to become their assistant fire chief. Over the course of my career, I've completed a lot of training. I've participated as an instructor in many live burn trainings, as well as responding to fires and other emergencies. I'm currently the Fire Chief and Emergency Management Director for the City of Maple Grove in Minnesota. In April of 2018, I completed a firefighter physical following guidelines recommended by the International Association of Fire Chiefs and published through the Firefighter Safety through Advanced Research F-STAR. At that time, I received a clean bill of health and moved forward. In late summer of 2018, I began to experience symptoms that I believe were associated with a hemorrhoid. I believe the situation would resolve itself because most of the time hemorrhoids can be a transient situation. When that didn't happen, I went to my primary care provider. My primary doctor thought I might have a large skin tag, so they referred me to a colorectal surgeon. The surgeon, on the other hand, thought that I might have a cancerous mass. But they said they'd need to do additional testing in order to confirm. So I got scheduled for a contrast MRI and a PET CT and a biopsy. When I went in for my biopsy, the surgeon told me that he was 98% certain that I had a form of cancer, most likely squamous cell, but they'd need to do the biopsy in order to confirm. On December 3rd of 2018, I was told I had malignant melanoma. In the words of the surgeon, it's a highly aggressive form of cancer. It's not curable, and they weren't even sure what treatment protocol that we'd use for that. When I was told I had malignant melanoma, I looked on the Firefighter Cancer Support Network's website, and that's where I learned that melanoma is one of the top 8 firefighter cancers. So having that was a lot different than the squamous cell. I got to tell you, I felt like I'd been gut punched at that point because I went from you're going to have a highly treatable form of cancer to we don't know how to treat this and we know it's not curable. When I started treatment, one of the things they ask you is they ask you about your resources. Do you have adequate transportation, help with household tasks, expenses? And I thought, well, this is interesting because I told the providers, I said, you don't understand. I'm a firefighter. I've got this huge firefighting family. I literally have 100 firefighters that are elbowing to get to the front of the line to be the first ones to help. So it was never an issue of having all of that. So my typical treatment day, I get a blood draw on my way into work. I go into the office. Sometime in the afternoon, my wife meets me. We drive over to the clinic together. I get tapped with an IV, and I receive an infusion of immunotherapy treatment. It's pretty straightforward. I'm extremely fortunate my body handles the immunotherapy treatment quite well, and I've had very little in the way of side effects. I'm an atypical in terms of a firefighter with cancer because I've missed very little work. There's a lot of hope, and finding cancer early increases the chances for successful treatment and recovery. That's why it's so important that firefighters get an annual physical. If you have something that doesn't feel right, don't put it off. Go get it checked out. Hey, best case scenario, you go get it checked out and it isn't anything. But the worst case scenario is you put it off and then it allows this cancer to grow. And the more it grows and the more it spreads, the more difficult it's going to be to treat it. As far as firefighters, there's a lot of things that we can do to help protect us from cancer. Firefighters need to be smart about their job. That means staying out of hazard zones without the proper protective equipment. And use your air, not only for initial attack, but use it for overhaul and any operation where you may be exposed to aerosols, vapors, and fine dusts. Decontamination. If you're in rehab and you're going to have a bottle of water, or you're going to take a little bit of nutrition, make sure you wash your hands. If you don't have the ability to wash your hands outright, at least use some kind of wipe to wipe that heavy contamination off. Before you leave the fire ground, make sure you do a gross decontamination. Many departments are considering clean cabs, and I know that the reality is that's a tough sell for some of us. So we need to do some kind of gross decon.